Hello world, welcome back. In this video, we're going to make a YouTube style list. We have our little buttons here, which bring up some dummy buttons. And if we scroll down, looks pretty good. And we can also tap on a video row. It takes us to a detail view, which currently doesn't have much, but can be built out however you like. So let's go ahead and get started by coming over to Xcode and creating a new project. Make it iOS, go next, call it YouTube list, I suppose, like that. Make sure its interface is SwiftUI and language is Swift. Go ahead and go next, and then we'll go ahead and create, and we get our default hello world view. So first off, we need to go to assets and go ahead and add our images. I just made a couple of images of profiles and some thumbnails there in DiffusionB. However you want to make them or get your thumbnails, that's fine. After that, we can go ahead and start working on building out the actual Swift code. We'll go ahead and create a new file, and this will be a just generic Swift file. So hit enter there. We'll call this one YouTube row like that and create enter. And inside this file, it's just going to be our row data. So we'll paste that in there, YouTube row. It has an ID, so we make an identifiable. It has a title, thumbnail, channel title, kind of all the things we might need for a row inside of our view. And we scroll down, this is just some dummy data, video data here, filled out with some basic information and the names of the images we put in the assets folder. Pretty basic, really you just need to know this and, make whatever demo data, mock data you want. Now we'll go ahead and start building out the actual views. So here above the YouTube row, we're going to go ahead and create a new file. This one will be SwiftUI. We'll go ahead and hit next, and we'll just call this one row HStack view. And we'll go ahead and create it like so. This is going to be our row that's underneath the thumbnail. So first thing we want to do is just come down here and we see selectable, tap that, and then I can come here and go dot preview layout dot size that fits. And now we can really just focus on the view we're building and nothing else. So let's go ahead and go to line 12 and get started. We'll highlight this text view here, and we're just going to replace it with an HStack. I'm going to go open parenthesis, and we do want to set our alignment here. So just start typing out alignment and it'll autofill for you. And this one's going to be dot top, like so. And then we'll go tab and enter. And now we can start building out our row view. But one thing we should do before we do that is we'll actually need some data to fill this view out. So we'll come up here to line 10, hit enter a few times. And on line 11, we're just going to make a constant because this row just needs to display the data. It's not going to do anything with it. And we're going to go row data, and it's going to be of type YouTube row like we made earlier. And now we can go ahead and use it in our view after, of course, we fix our preview here. So just hit fix, and here we'll go video data like so. This is that array that we created in the YouTube row file. And then we'll just go dot, well, instead of going dot first, because that'll be optional, we'll just go 0, because we know there's a element there. Now we have some data to work with. So let's go ahead and start building out the first element, which will be the user's profile image. So let's go ahead and go image, open parenthesis, and we're going to go row data like so. And this is going to be dot channel, and we're going to go profile image. And we should, once we go option command P, or actually it updated before. Nice. But if it doesn't update, option command P will update your canvas for you so you know what you're working with. Now that is a bit big, so we're going to make it dot resizable. Modifier like that sets the mode by which SwiftUI resizes an image to fit its space. And underneath there, we're going to go aspect ratio dot fit. Oops, go undo that and go tab over to content mode dot fit like so. Now to make it a bit smaller, we're going to go ahead and add a frame modifier here, And once we spell out frame, you can see we have a lot of options, but we just really want to modify the width. So we'll type out width, arrow down key, and grab that. And this one's going to be a solid 50 or a constant 50. Just make it nice and small. And we don't want it to be a square, so we're going to make it, we're going to clip the view. So go clip this view to its bounding rectangular frame, and then we can specify what we're going to do. Like clip shape is what I actually wanted. So that's a clipping shape for this view. Do that. And we can put all kinds of shapes in here, but we're just going to go with a circle like so. And now we have a nice circle, which is pretty standard for profile views, I suppose. Right here, we're going to put a row footer view. So putting a comment here because I'll show you one way we can kind of break up our views if we don't want to actually make an entire new struct. We can just make our views using properties and kind of just break them up a little bit so they're more readable. So we'll get to that momentarily. So next we'll go ahead and enter a few times and go spacer because we're going to be in an H stack. We want to kind of space our elements out. So we have a button on the far right side. And we're going to do that by creating a menu here. And this will allow us to have a couple of different buttons when the user taps on our ellipsis. So our, kind of like our options, I suppose. And here we're going to just make a button like so, open parentheses, and we'll say button 1. Super original, but we're not going to really fill out the functionality of these buttons in this video, but feel free to do so yourself. Do stuff here. This is where you call your action functions from perhaps a view model or just inside your own view, depending on how you like to do things. Now, we do need to add a little bit more to our menu here, so let's actually just put one more button, and then we'll do that. So paste that in there, we'll call this button 2. But now we go down here to line 33, hit enter, or actually undo that, enter, and then we're going to create a label. So go like that, and now we have a label for our menu. And this is just going to be an image. It's going to be a system image. So we'll be able to use SF fonts, and you can access those really easily by Command-Shift-L, and you get all these options here. So we're going to look for ellipsis, like so. And if you don't see the one you like right off the bat, just grab one, and then you can delete all the extra stuff. And you can see our ellipsis is way over here in the corner. It looks pretty small. So let's fix a few things. One, we want to rotate it because it's going the wrong way. And two, we want to make the font not be the blue kind of button color. We want it to be like a system color or primary color. So let's go ahead and go dot rotate. Spell rotate properly, rotate like that. And we use the rotation effect, and we will add a dot degrees, and we're going to rotate it by 90. So now it's up and down instead of, now it's vertical instead of horizontal. We want to also give it a foreground color, and this foreground color we're just going to go dot primary. Now it looks all standard or however it looks. So we'll go dot padding, and here we're just going to specify the padding to be top, and we are going to set it to be 8. So now we just have a little bit of padding on top. All right, that is our view so far. It's not amazing, but it's coming along. I think the next thing we need to do before we create the row footer is just come up here to line 39. So that should be the end of our H stack here, right there. And we're going to go ahead and go dot padding. And here we're going to use an array. So open close brace and go dot horizontal. And then separate that to go dot bottom like so. And this will get Just make things look a little nicer once we're in the list of cards or rows. Not really a card, I don't think. But now we want to build out this view here. And I would suggest that you perhaps think about building out just, a completely new struct, but maybe it's not really necessary and you want to kind of keep things in the same file. Then you just close up our body property here and you can see how it's kind of built out, and we can do the same thing. So let's just go down here and we're going to create another variable. We're going to call it row footer, and we are going to say it is of some view and open close curly brace. And now we can build out another view which we can use if we open up our body here. We can use it right here. Go row footer like so. And there's just another view. It's really simple. So if you like doing that, you can do it that way, or again, just build out another struct and you can put it in that way. But we're going to do it this way just for fun. So let's go and create a VStack. We're going to open parentheses and we're going to again specify our alignment. So we'll go alignment. This one is going to be dot leading. So we want everything to be on the leading aligned instead of just centered by default. We'll go tab, hit enter, and now we can go ahead and start creating some text views. I believe this is all text views, I think. So we're going to go text view, open parenthesis, row data, and we're going to go dot title. So see if it updates here. There we go. A day in the life of a developer. Sounds like a fascinating video. We're going to go ahead and add some modifiers here. So we're going to go font, and the font modifier is going to be dot title. And maybe that's too big, so we'll go title 2. Inside our VStack here, we're going to go ahead and make another stack because stacks are amazing. But this one's going to be an H stack, and this one's going to be text like so. Open parentheses, and we're going to go row data, and we're going to go dot channel title. Oops, channel title. Like that. Now we got channel title. Mobile Dev Lab. That's pretty snazzy. And I think we're going to go dot line limit. So sets the maximum number of lines. Let's say someone has a really long channel. We don't want it to just keep on going, making new line breaks and just continue to go. So we're just going to limit it to 1 line. And I think that's pretty good for that. So let's go ahead and create another text view. And we're going to go text, open parenthesis. And this one's going to be string. We're just going to actually put a string in here and then use some string interpolation. So backslash, open close parenthesis. And here we're going to go row data dot view count. So obviously view count isn't a string, so we're going to just put it inside of our string using string interpolation. And then we're going to just put a capital K. Now that's really big. 6 point, yeah, that's a lot of zeros. We'll just format this. So dot formatted. So format self with floating point formatted style. Sounds good to me. Looks a lot better now. Sweet. What else do we have? We've got, I think, almost everything. Probably a publication date. So we're going to go ahead and go text, open parenthesis, and we're going to go row data, and we're going to go dot date, publish date. Looks good. And we're not using string interpolation with a lot of these because a lot of these are, if you just option click, you can see it's a string. We're also not doing anything like adding a K or doing, whatever. So it works just great to have strings come back from your view model or controller or whatever you use. Anywho, I think this view looks pretty good now. So perhaps we can move on to the next view, which would be row view. So right before row HStack, we will go ahead and create a new file. And we're gonna make it a SwiftUI view. And we're just gonna call it row view. Sounds pretty good to me. Hit enter, and we have a row view. Doesn't look great yet, but we're gonna fix that. So before we get started here, we're gonna fix the preview. And again, this row view is going to take a row data as well. So we'll just copy this from our row HStack view, go back to our row view, go to line 10, enter twice, up arrow once, Command V, and that looks pretty good. And again, we're missing stuff. So we'll fix that, and then we're gonna use that dummy data we made earlier, and we're gonna go video data. And then we're just gonna use open brace 0 to grab the first element in the array. All right, now what do we want to do? This is a row view, and this is going to be where we're going to show the thumbnail image, and then below the thumbnail image, we're going to show that row HStack view that we made earlier. So I think we can go ahead and grab this, and we'll just go vStack. Oh, one other thing I want to do while I'm still thinking about it is come down here to our preview and go dot preview size that fits. Nice. And it takes a second update. Anywho, we'll put something here, like an image. But underneath that, we're going to use our row view that we made earlier. So row HStack, yeah, that was the one. Open parentheses, it wants row data, which makes sense because we told it it was a constant and we never initialized it, so now it's going to want it. So we're just going to pass in the row data this view got. Looks good to me. And you're probably wondering, well, why isn't this updated? Because it's now over here. See, this little thing is blue and it's live. Well, we don't want live, we want selectable. Yeah, that looks better. All right, let's clean this up. We're gonna go ahead and go image like so. We're gonna go open parenthesis, and we're gonna go row data, and we're gonna go dot thumbnail image. It's gonna be big when it updates. Looks like something happened. It's not what we wanted though. So we're just going to go ahead and go to the end of this line, and we're going to go dot resizable, like so. All right, that's looking like there's something there. All right, now we can go dot aspect ratio. We're going to hit enter, and this time it puts it right where we want it to be, where content fill mode. So we're going to go dot fit. That looks better. Okay, now we're going to go dot overlay. And our overlay, we want to do a few things. First, we want to set some alignments. We want alignment, alignment, like so, dot leading. And then, I'm not going to noodle around with that. We're just going to keep it like that. And we're going to go open, close, curly brace. And inside here, we're going to go ahead and build out our text row. So we're going to go text. Going to go open parenthesis. We're going to go row data, and we're going to go dot video duration. And that'll give us 5 minutes and 27 seconds, which is really not readable right there. So, a couple of things we can do to kind of make this look a little better is, one, where did I put the overlay? Leading. Don't know why I did that. That's not what I want. Leading's putting it right here, and it's centered by default. So what we want is dot bottom, and we want it to be trailing, so on the right hand side. And now you really can't see it because it's sitting right there, and it's hard to see. We'll fix that. So we're going to go font, and we're going to go dot callout, make it nice and small, so it's even harder to read. But after that, we're going to do a few additional things like padding, dot vertical, and we're going to give it a small number of 4, and then we're going to go dot padding, and this one's going to be dot horizontal, and it's going to be a little bit more like 6, and then we're going to set the dot foreground color to dot white, so now our text is going to be visible, maybe. Option Command P, what did we do wrong? Oh, yeah, we need to add little commas. Commas. Now it looks better. See, now we can see it. It's white and it sits up in that little corner. Sits over in that, down in that little corner, not up. It's on the bottom. Anywho, we're going to do one last thing, I think. Background. Because it's white and it's still easier to see now, but it could be better. So we're going to go background. And we're going to go open parenthesis and we're going to go dot black. Like so. All right, that to me looks pretty close to a YouTube thumbnail row view, right? So now we need to put it in the list. So let's go back up to content view, and this is not updated, so we're just going to go new file, and we're going to go ahead and create a SwiftUI view, and we're going to call it list view, I think, because we just call things views because they're part of the view part. So that makes sense. List view. Could have called it YouTube list view, or really anything you want. This one, we're going to come down here and we're just going to hit this third button in to kind of center everything or get it all lined up nicely. And then we'll start by replacing this as always. So we'll go ahead and just start typing nav stack, which is a view that displays a root view and enables you to present additional views over the root view. We use navstack now from iOS 16 and above. And then we're going to go open and close curly brace. Here we're going to create a standard list like so. And inside of our list, we are going to go for each. And this just a structure that computes views on demand from an underlying collection of identical data. And we do have a collection, because remember in the very beginning we created a list or an array of YouTube videos, I suppose. And we're just going to pass in the video data. Oops. Pass in by open parenthesis video data like so. And then we're going to just call each one of these views or each one of these elements in the collection a row. And then we're going to go ahead and create a row view and open parentheses. And again, it wants row data because we told it that it needed that. So we're just going to pass in the row. And there you go. Oh, maybe I should go over here and go R. Oops, not. Go R, O. And you can see that row is just a YouTube row, which is fantastic because it's one element out of our collection. And then every time it loops around, loop, 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 like that. All right, but you're looking at this and you're probably thinking, wow, this looks not awesome, which I would agree. It doesn't. It's not great. We can improve it. So what are the things we can do? Well, we can go dot list separator, list row separator, and we can go dot hidden. All right, I don't know if you saw that, but those disappeared. That may not be super visible, but they were there. All right, we could do more than that though. We're also going to, I mean, look at this padding. It's all over the place. Or it's not, but it looks like a standard list, but we're not doing a standard list. We're doing our custom view. So now we're going to go dot, and this one's going to be list row, and it's going to be insets. Like that, applies an inset to the rows in a list. Go ahead and go enter, and here we're going to go dot init. So we're going to initialize the top, leading, bottom, trailing, and so forth. And here we're going to go 0, 0, 0, and 0. That's looking better. Still could use some improvement because we have kind of this, don't know if you can see it better in dark mode. Let's go dark mode and see. Yeah, it's still kind of padded out a little bit. It's not 100% awesome yet. So yeah, you see these borders like that, and yeah, it's not, and it's rounded. Yeah, we got to fix all that. Might look cool for some stuff, but we're not doing that. So we're gonna go to the bottom of the list on 19. And we go dot list style, and we're gonna go dot plain. Bam! Look at that. It looks like a a YouTube list, possibly. Doesn't navigate anywhere. Button should work though, if we tap there. Maybe. Come on. Oh no. I'll have to go see if I messed up the button code. We'll look at it in a moment. Anywho, let's see where are we at. We need to add, on the row view, we need to add an overlay. So to make this navigate and still look the custom way we made it, we're just going to create an overlay like so. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all that. It's going to be no alignment or anything necessary here. We're just going to open, close, curly brace. And in here, we're going to go ahead and create a navigation link because we're doing some simple navigation. We don't need anything fancy. Open parenthesis, destination. And we go enter. And for our destination on this one, you'd probably want to, build out something a lot better, but don't know how long this video's already been going, so not going to cover that in this one. We're just going to go text. We're going to go string interpolation again. And we're going to say view coming soon. But what view is coming soon? Well, here we're just going to use the row dot title. So they can imagine, that video detail row coming anytime. So, and our label, we don't want to have a label here because we're putting this as an overlay for our row view, and that's kind of where the label would be. So we're just going to go empty. And then we're going to go open, close, parentheses. Now, you might see, you might not, they're not super visible. You can see the little chevrons here, which are what you'd typically find on a list. Well, we don't want to see those because this is a custom view and, don't want a chevron. So we're going to go opacity 0. And now you can see we don't have the chevrons anymore because we're setting the navigation link to the opacity of 0. So I think that's looking pretty good. Now I think if we just come down here to line 28, we can fix a few other little things. One, I think the reason why my button wasn't working, at least I hope so, if not we'll have to go back, is we need to go dot plain, or not plain, dot button style dot plain. A button style that doesn't, anyway, you can read about that. And now if we go click, hope that doesn't work. May have to look into that. Anywho, we'll come back and noodle with that later. We still need to do the button plain style or else it might mess with the buttons in the navigation link. But one last modifier we'll add to this view is the navigation title. And here we'll just put YouTube. To put a capital T there, tube and space, then we'll go list, like that. And now we have a custom list that looks probably okay. And not bad. We do need to fix our buttons though, because they don't seem to be working. So we'll go up here to row HStack view and look and see what we did wrong. Here's our row footer. We're not interested in that. We open this up. We're interested in this code here. Why is our button not working? Let's go ahead and come up here, pick iPhone 14 Pro and go Command R and see what is happening. Which brings us to our next problem. This is still displaying content view. So let's go ahead and fix that really quick. Let's go to content view and we're just going to go ahead and get rid of all this and go list view. Oops, list view, like so. Now you'd probably want to put this list view inside of like a tab view and, probably wouldn't want to just put it right here, but for now I think it's fine. So we're going to go ahead and go back to our HStack and go Command R and see how the app actually works in the simulator. And here we go. We tap on it, navigates, really nice. And if we want to tap on our buttons, okay, that one worked. So maybe it's, maybe it's just too small of a tappable area, which we could fix by, let's say, going over here and we have our buttons. Let's go, well, that's not our buttons we want to do. We want to have on our label, this is our image here. we can go ahead and say dot frame, or not frame, we're going to go dot border, like so, and I'll go dot red, kind of like a debug color so we can maybe see our border. So yeah, our border is tiny. It's just, oh, it's right there. So let's go ahead and go dot frame. We'll go height. So we're just going to go width. And we're going to go 44. That's perhaps a bit too big. We'll go 32. Go 20. Of course, that's going to adjust our padding a little bit. We'll give it a height of 42. And now we have a bigger, more tappable area there. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And Command R. And now we have our buttons. They might be offset alignment a little bit here. Maybe we could adjust that, but if we tap, a lot more tappable. So adjust the frame as needed and enjoy this YouTube inspired list. If you enjoy these videos, do subscribe, and hopefully my next tutorial is even better when I upload it. Ta-ta for now.